Good evening and welcome to our Elite FPL reactionary podcast, reacting to all the action from Gameweek 17. And I'm here with my good friends Steve-O and Jason. How are we, chaps?
Hello, hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm saying it's not football-wise. It's not been a great day for myself and Jason. We'll probably be commiserating about today's result.
Hold on a minute. We didn't win either, surprisingly.
Yeah, but Burnley never wins. Sorry, that was a little bit harsh, but so all three of us probably a bit gutted about our teams we support, our results. But yeah, we're going to be looking at how our teams performed, and also looking at the top three in our Elite FPL mini league as well, and just recapping on game week 17, all the action, all the reaction here. If you're in the live chat, please do let us know, say hello, give us your questions, give us your thoughts. And yeah, Steve-O's just going to run us through the results, which I'm looking forward to hearing again.
Yeah, we got just before Steve-O does that, I want to say what Dan just said then. Welcome everybody in our live chat. Guys, it's awesome that you guys are here. You were waiting before the stream even started. We had people in the chat. We've got FPL Booner in chat, Paul Wickett, Jack Gleeson, Brett Mollison, Dejan Checo, all the regular faces, Suman Gutar.
All the
Notorious Nerds here as well. Guys, you're all here. Guys, I'm looking forward to digesting exactly what's happened over this weekend. And sorry, Steve-O, just cut in. I just wanted to say hello to everybody. Fire away.
Welcome. So, like Dan said, I'm just going to go quickly over the fixtures from yesterday and the more important players that kind of scored. I'm not really interested in Milivojevic of Crystal Palace. No one owns him, so don't worry if I don't mention him. But straight away, Man City winning 3-1 there. Dan, you got that bang on in your predictions, by the way. And by the way, you actually won the predictor game this weekend. Congratulations. You beat the history by 1 point. Straight away, I'll ask the pair of you, is Jesus a potential transfer to be bringing in, possibly?
What do you reckon, Jay?
We need words. And Jason's gone silent. Jason,
I'll just say, yeah, I mean, possibly, like, we'll go into it more depth later on, but yeah, Kane and Aubameyang just both haven't delivered. So, Jesus could be a potential differential. Bit disappointed with the attacking returns this game week. So, looked pretty sharp yesterday. So, yeah, possibly.
Of course, Sterling coming on. I couldn't believe it yesterday. I drove up the wall when a friend of mine from work, Sahil, he said, "Oh, guess what, Steve-O? Sterling's come off the bench." And I'm like, yes, he got that 1 point. Brilliant. He'll double for two, because I know Darren Monday in our mini league had it. And then, of course, within 2 seconds, he scored, though. Brilliant. Thanks a bunch. So Sterling obviously scored. Sane with 2 assists. You must be loving Sane at the moment, Jason, in your team?
Right, so to answer your original question, Gabriel Jesus is not reliable enough to be on my radar and on a lot of FPL managers' radar, especially with Aguero being presumed around the corner fitness-wise. Interestingly, Kevin De Bruyne being back in action. It's nice to see that. I think there'll be a lot of people looking to accommodate him in the upcoming weeks. As for Sane, Sterling, I'll bring my team up on screen. As you can see, last game week, a complete polar opposite. This game week, both Sane and Sterling return points, which reinforces the fact that City mids are great assets to have in your team. Obviously, we'll go on to West Ham and how they performed. But in general, my team performed pretty well. Pretty good comprehensive result for Man City against Everton. I was pretty much expecting a few goals in that game.
Again, this is what really angers me. When the players that are doing really well, like yourself, the luck is with you when, they lost 3-1, but Digne is coming off your bench for Trent Alexander-Arnold for 3 points because he got an assist. Do you know how annoying that is?
Well, he is a.
I'm going to say this now before we went live. I am fuming with this game. We're going to go into my team in a minute, but this here alone really angers me. Anyway, Jason, carry on.
Well, the thing is, there is an element of luck to the game, of course, but Lucas Digne is being snapped up quite a lot at the moment because of his attacking returns. Obviously, his late winner the other day, and now obviously with the assist yesterday. He's going to be on a lot more radars for a lot more managers, I'd imagine, looking for a cheaper, great value. I mean, he's second to Doherty in my opinion. And I don't own Doherty. I've got the Bennett. See, Bennett at 4.2, whatever he is now, getting a clean sheet, absolute bargain. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka. I feel lucky about that. But to be honest with you, there is I for the last 3 or 4 game weeks now, I've actually started to think that I don't need these premium defenders. Like Alonso today was a great example. Is that yes, they have a higher chance than a lower budget defender to get an attacking return. But I think at the moment in the game, the money is best spent in midfield. And today with Aubameyang failing again, obviously last game week he got an assist, but with the money invested in him, I would like to have a higher point ceiling. And it would seem at the moment the midfielders are offering better value for money. So I'm even like in my head, I'm almost like trying to convince myself just have, while obviously there's 2 avenues to go down because obviously I had Aguero for so much time. I don't think Aubameyang's been that replacement for Aguero for me. So now I'm almost convincing myself that having a high priced striker isn't the best option, and then just going with like someone like Chicharito proved that. Wilson's proved that all season, and having a third. I mean, look at Ings today. Owners for Ings must be loving it. So yeah. Anyway, without going out on a tangent, move on to the next point you want to go to, Steve-O.
Yeah, so we'll just rattle off the rest of the results. So yeah, Crystal Palace winning 1-0. A lot of Wan-Bissaka owners getting either him off the bench, or if they were like Jason, they may have even actually started him. They're getting a clean sheet there. Newcastle winning 1-0. Rondon, I think it's 2 goals in 3 games now that he started. Someone potentially maybe to look at, but I just don't think Newcastle are potent enough in front of goal to be considering him. Now onto my game. God, I say it really angers me. It was inevitable. Spurs were going to beat us, but in the way, I'd rather have lost 3-0, giving the game a go, than losing 1-0 like that after you've put up a brick wall after brick wall for 91 minutes, and then Eriksen scores. But tell you what, looking at his stats at the moment, he's played the last 5. He's got 11, 5, 6, 1, and 7 points. So yeah, he got his first goal of the season this year. Maybe someone to look at, I don't know, but with Spurs assets coming into question at the moment, somebody is a definite starter barring yesterday, of course. Someone worth looking at. Watford winning 3-2. Again, I was in work, sat there watching the final score, and it was just like, right, Watford are winning 2-0. This is great. I get Firmino, whatever his blinking name is, clean sheet, 3, just like that. He concedes. It just drives me up the wall. And of course, 3 goals. And one of the defenders that actually got points for Watford wasn't Firmino. It was Holebas. Of course.
Oh, don't talk to me about Holebas.
So Steve-O, I was going to pull your team up on the screen because you sound a little frustrated, my friend. Obviously, last week you did that -12. It paid off massively. You gained. You did really well. You're really happy with your team. This week, you sat with 30 points. Obviously, the Arsenal defence was a big letdown for you. Son returning 1 point with me as well. Lots of 1s and 2s in that team. Very, very. You could consider yourself quite misfortunate because your team looked on paper to be relatively strong this game week. Obviously, you got Bennett sitting staring you on the face on the bench, who isn't going to come on because Richarlison's there, unfortunately, in front of him. So are you just going to chalk this one down to just bad luck and just move on, or are you thinking of possibly shaking your team up after doing that -12 last game week?
I'm not thinking of shaking my team up. I'm going to show you now. I was really happy with my Arsenal double-up defence. And then, of course, I'm at home and I'm listening to the team news and I hear Kolasinac isn't even playing. I'm just like, right, fine, okay. Who at least Bellerin's going to play. And then as I'm looking here right now, in fact, Dan will be able... Did you watch the game, Dan?
Yeah, I'm still gutted. I
get home, I see Bellerin's on, so I brought in Bellerin for Trent Alexander-Arnold because I genuinely believe that Arsenal in the next 3 fixtures would keep 2 clean sheets, certainly today. I mean, not only did Arsenal lose, they lose 3-2. Funny enough, the history actually predicted a tight game, and now 3-2 suggests quite an open game, but the scoreline-wise, quite close. Dan, just tell us about today's game, please. Try and settle me down with my Kolasinac and Bellerin double up, or do I need to get rid of Bellerin straight away?
Yeah, it was just shocking today. So in fact, it's the whole thing of having a new manager, and this game week, it just outstands me about the history and the whole thing he keeps saying about the history. And I was thinking, Southampton haven't won at home all season. We should win this game. I was thinking today, yeah, we'll win 2 or 3 goals, but yeah, Charlie Austin's got 5 goals in 5 games against us now, gets the winner. But Kolasinac, that was a real surprise to me because he's played in the last few Premier League games. He's played quite well. Didn't play in the Europa League. Monreal came back, and to stick the dagger even more in, he got the assist for the first goal for Mkhitaryan. So,
I mean, Dan, sorry, Dan, but I think it's quite important to bring it up. But over the last few weeks, I've kind of been thinking about Arsenal defensive options, and I've actually discussed it with you a couple of times, and I've heard you on stream say, I wouldn't be too... when Steve-O was thinking about getting Leno in, you were like, well, not looking so good at the back. And that was before the injuries. So now, I mean, it's very rickety-rackety for Arsenal at the back. And even though on paper the fixtures are looking nice, it's, I mean, Southampton put 3 past them and could easily have been more. They were very unorganised today. I watched the game. They were very unorganised.
Well, do you know what? At one point, the Sky Sports commentator said Per Mertesacker hasn't had to come out of retirement yet, but it might look like that because he's an academy coach. And I was thinking, oh, God, are we really into that stage? But, yeah, he wants to buy a defender in January. But, yeah, Koscielny was all over the shop. Leno... I think it's time for Cech to put his helmet back on because that third goal, that was just, and Cech was playing well before Leno came in, really. But yeah, the Bellerin wasn't really getting into attacking positions. And yeah, if Kolasinac not to even be on the bench, I don't really understand that because he's been playing quite well in recent games. So that, I brought Kolasinac in. So not only have my team lost, I've lost out points with Kolasinac, bringing him in. And the player that I wanted to get in was either Holebas or Kolasinac. And I looked at Holebas's fixtures, looked at the fact that he's on set pieces, and then yesterday, go on BBC Sport, Holebas slams in Watford second. I was just like, yeah, it's going to be another great game week.
It's just another one of those stories where you're conflicted between 2 players. And
I just went with the crowd rather than going my instinct. My instinct was like, Holebas did well at the start of the season.
How many times does that happen over a season where you go with your gut and it's or you get convinced by someone else, or you get convinced by a news story? Like your gut will say play with something, play with player, and then you read a news story, or you'll see an article, or you'll see someone say another player, and then it will change your mind at the last minute. It happens a lot.
That's bad.
That's FPL.
Yeah, well, ironically, I was on, for those new watchers, we are on Instagram, Elite FPL. And we had a question in yesterday about who are the best defenders under 5 million. Straight away, my thought to respond would be Holebas, or Doherty's 5 million now, sorry, but Kolasinac being one of them. But yeah, just really disappointed with that. Sometimes you got to stick with your gut and go against the crowd, but I didn't do that, and yeah, shocking. So.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Watford assets there, and someone that did do really well yesterday was Deulofeu. Over the last 3, he's got 2 goals and he got an assist yesterday. And I'm just looking here now, and do you know what? With their upcoming fixtures, which look really, really favourable at the moment, if this actually scrolls up, which of course it doesn't even bother doing, so I'm going to have to come out of this. But I just looked at their upcoming fixtures, and they look really, really favourable at the moment. And I can look at it now. So they've got West Ham away, which isn't great. Once they played Chelsea, then you've got Newcastle, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, and then Burnley. I think they are really, really favourable fixtures to be bringing in a Watford asset, maybe an attacking one. At the moment, it's Delafeu who's the most... Oh, sorry, my apologies. I was looking at the wrong player, would you believe? Decore. He's the second most highest scoring player for Watford, and he got the assist yesterday. But it was Delafeu, wasn't it, that got the goal yesterday?
Beat 3 players for the first goal.
Yeah. So maybe Decore is somebody at 5.9. I don't think it's worth the risk really bringing someone like him in, but there are upcoming fixtures it may be looking. But just to finish this we will go a bit more into detail on our team. So Wolves 2-0. Jimenez of all players scoring, quite extraordinary. He is just ticking along, and now I believe he's 6 million. But another player that's doing really well at the moment is Jota. He is certainly somebody that everybody seemed to look at the beginning of the season, and then all of a sudden, he did nothing for the start. But now, all of a sudden, he's picked up the points. He, as we see here, he's got attacking returns in his last 3. And if I just bring it up here once it goes down, yeah. So in his last 4, he's got the last 3. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists. Pretty much that's all his returns from the whole of this season so far. But it looks like he's injured. So that isn't good for him whatsoever. So maybe that's one to avoid. In fact, if I look here, he's 75% chance playing, and it's a knock. So he probably will be playing. So he's at the moment, he seems key to Wolves' attack there. But West Ham United, Jason, you took our own advice on the last podcast, bringing in Snodgrass and Chicharito. They paid off perfectly, especially Snodgrass bringing you an 11 points. You must have been loving that yesterday.
Well, it's a good example as to why you should have a good discussion and debate about fantasy football, because like you can run ideas through your head all day long, but having other people's inputs and opinions massively can impact your season for the better. Obviously, you don't want to constantly jump on bandwagons, but for the price of Snodgrass, the upgrade from Højbjerg to Snodgrass, the bringing in a Chicharito for Mitrovic seemed to work really well. Obviously, Son didn't, but I spent the points bringing them in, and they've repaid me. So I'm really happy with I'm very, very happy with this week, the way it went out. And even though my captain failed, West Ham United seem to be scoring at the moment. They seem to be free scoring, and for the price, the value that you get, I can honestly believe that they're great value going forward. I'm happy to stick with them. I'm not planning to get rid of any of them at any time soon. But this Salah debate is going to fire up again. I know it's going to start firing up. But I just want to get one thing off my chest as a United fan. Watching the game today, I just didn't know what team I was watching. Like, I've seen United play really bad, in recent months, but it was against Liverpool. There's a lot of history in that game. You would hope that the players would get fired up for that game. Obviously, we had some injuries at the back, but Lindelof, I mean, I don't know what school of defender coaching he went to, because he was literally all over the place. Ashley Young had a howler in the first half, and I just would love to know. I would just love to know what Mourinho, his tactics, what he says to the players before the game. I really would love to know. I want to know.
So not going to be getting any United assets in soon. Then.
At the moment,
I was thinking the same. Yeah.
At the moment, I just think that United, right? They just rock up to a fixture. I don't even think Mourinho even says anything to him. He says, "Right, guys, go out and do your best," because literally, whatever system he might be trying to play, it's not coming across. He wasn't parking the bus. But if that was parking the bus, that was a bad bus. and he certainly wasn't playing on the counter attack, and it just seemed like really unorganised football from United. And I know it's it's not been great since Ferguson left, but it was really bad today, like really bad. And they got and Lingard got the equaliser, and we were very lucky to get that equaliser in the first half. And a mistake from Alisson, which is quite rare. But yeah, I just wanted to get it off my chest. I want to see what the guys in chat think. I don't think anyone's going to be getting United assets in anytime soon. And De Gea, I wanted to say one more thing about United. And that is, I was thinking when half-time and I was sat making my cup of tea, I was thinking, right, what am I going to do? Because De Gea, right, if I was De Gea, I would want to out United. Like, I would be surprised if he's still a United player come next season. I really, really will. And United will do probably everything they can to keep him. But I would not be surprised if he goes. And I would wave him goodbye, and I would say thank you ever so much for your services, David, because you've been amazing for us. And we don't deserve you. The defender's absolutely shocking. And he deserves better. Anyway, that's enough, United. Sorry.
Well, talking of players potentially moving this next season, we move on to the Chelsea game winning 2-1, sorry. Eden Hazard, a double-digit score today, 1 goal, 1 assist. Someone that just everybody seems to be overlooking. Over the last 4, he's returned 2 for 5 assists and 1 goal. I understand why there's been talk of not really getting him in or anything, but it does appear that actually for consistency, he is up there at the moment. Southampton, yeah, we've already covered that 3-2. Lacazette, of course, and in there with an assist. And then as Jason just brought up, the thingamajig, Liverpool winning 3-1, and that man again, Shaqiri. I could not believe it when I looked at his goal returns this season. He scored linking 5 goals, I think, and got 6 assists. Let me look here for just a quick one. It's just something ridiculous for the lack of minutes that he's actually played.
He's got to be up there. He's got to be up there.
Yeah, he's played 622 minutes. He scored 5 goals and got 4 assists.
Yeah,
it's absolutely madness.
It's incredible. It's really incredible returns. And I've always liked Shaqiri, especially from his Stoke days. And I've always thought, a lot of people did, I'm sure. I always thought if he was in like a top half or even like a top 4 team, he would be getting and providing so many chances. And wow, for Liverpool, he's just been an absolute phenomenon. And for those people that are wanting to maybe invest in their midfield, like I was saying earlier on, and maybe not having heavy-hitting strikers, like high-priced strikers like Aubameyang, Aguero, Kane is a great example of that. I mean, he's been hot and cold, mainly cold. A lot of people jumping on the Kane bandwagon. I'm happy that he didn't, lead me to regret that. But then Aubameyang has not been firing. I mean, I think there is definite reason to invest in midfield. So when you're talking about Hazard, Sterling, I mean Salah again. I mean, it's gonna obviously his hat trick last week. This week again, he had an assist chalked off. I didn't actually miss that part of the game. I think I just gave up watching in the end. But he had an assist. His assist was taken off. I haven't seen it, but from what I've heard, it was not an assist. So anyway, that's another topic of discussion as well, whether or not Salah is worth his price.
So we looked at your team, Jason. Your overall rank 2,756. Like you said, barring your captain fell there, you actually have had a really, really good game week so far, up to 60 points. You took a 4-point hit, but we already discussed your transfer, bringing in Chicharito, Snodgrass, and I forget who the other player was, but it doesn't matter.
Son,
yes. Yeah. 2 of them returning. You're plus up whatever it is. So on to me, by the way, everybody, I keep forgetting this. Most importantly, the FPL Cup started this week, and I really I called it last week on our last podcast. I said I'm going to have a disaster of a game week because it's the FPL Cup, and surprise, surprise, I have been knocked out. But if we look at Jason's opponent.
Oh, right, okay. I'll bring him up. His name's Elliot.
Cool.
Elliot Crowhurst.
Called Elliot, and he is 5 million. He's basically bottom of the whole blinking overall rank, full stop. And his team's actually not too bad, but yeah, the Kante, Fernandinho, you can see it there on screen. But Jason's through, so well done to Jason there. Looking at my team, like I said, absolutely disastrous. 29 measly points. My Bellerin transfer in, where I genuinely thought I would get a double Arsenal clean sheet today, completely failed on me. And now he's out injured with a calf injury, I found out. Looks like I'm going to have to transfer him out again. Had a slight bit of success with the Kane captaincy. Going back to the history, remember, Kane's record against Burnley is shit. Excuse my language, but it is rubbish. And did I listen to my own advice? Did I listen to anything that I say on this? Now, why bother? And he got an assist, but barring the hat-trick that he got last year, Kane has done nothing against Burnley. So, yeah, an absolute disaster. And I've been knocked out by a team called Roix. And when I look at their team, and it's bad when they've got Eric Dier in the team, and he didn't even play. He's out injured till January. And Fernandinho getting 6 points. I mean, that's nearly virtually a quarter of the points that I got overall in my team. It's absolutely pathetic. But a team that we haven't spoke about is Dan's team. You got, not much better than me, to be honest with you, Dan. 30 points, it's saying at the moment.
36. He's on
36.
He's on 36. Well, he's on 32 because of the -4, but yeah, 36 at the moment.
Just took a 4-point hit. Your captain, Kane. Chicharito coming in for you, 5 points. Aaron Wan-Bissaka coming off the bench because David Brooks didn't play. And you also have Westwood as well coming off the bench for you. Yeah, Dan, how are you feeling? It looks like you are actually going to go for the cup, though. Looking at the team that you played. No.
No.
Sorry, you're not going to go through because this player had Hazard today, and it looks like you'll probably be knocked out by 2 or 3 points. So, yeah, how are you feeling today, Dan?
Nauseous. So it's just shocking to be knocked out of the cup. The cup was because let's face it, in our mini league that we take seriously, my season's pretty dead, to be honest with you. I'm not going to get into the top 4. I'm just fighting for pride now. Want to finish above friends of mine in the league. That's my kind of challenge at the moment. To go out in the cup by a few points is just...
just interject, Dan. Sorry to interject, just to rub it even more. Who was he playing? Holobas.
Yeah, like you said, you listen to all these podcasts, see all this information on social media, read all these blogs and websites and everything. You think, Holobas, and then you just go with the crowd, and that can be quite frustrating. I mean, on a more positive note, obviously, Chicharito got some points. Wan-Bissaka is proven to be good value again, so it's not been all bad. But, yeah, pretty disappointed with Son. I watched the Man City-Everton game yesterday. Richarlison had 2 really good opportunities. Actually, Everton had some good chances in that match. So, a little bit disappointed about that. Not an awful game week, but not a very good game week either, to be honest with you. It's just like Jay said about the... I've got a lot of money invested in my front line, with Kane and Aubameyang, and they're just not really... All I could think when I was saying before is that I miss Aguero in my team because, I know he gets subbed off with, 20 minutes play, but he gets goals every week. And that's what I want from a striker over 10, 11 million or what. That's what I need. But like yourself, I looked at my team and I was Friday evening, I looked at my team and I thought, I'm pretty happy with this. And Patricio being on the bench, I didn't want to double up on the Wolves' defence. I thought, keep Doherty in. He's in good form. I felt like Bournemouth would score. They didn't, and I didn't feel that Palace would score against Leicester. They did. Miljovic. I was literally watching it on Match Today, and I thought, right, Schmeichel, keep me a clean sheet, and then Miljovic lines up 25 yards out, smashes it into the corner. I'm just it's just not my weekend. So,
when it rains, it pours, right, Dan?
Yeah, and for Arsenal to lose, even before this, I was like, do I even want to talk about football because I was just so gutted to lose against Southampton. So yeah, nearly Christmas.
It's what Southampton needed. You don't hear it, but Southampton desperately needed that result, and I'm happy for the Southampton fans out there because they haven't had a lot to cheer about of late, and hopefully they can. They're historically they're a fairly they were the team that produced the young talent for the bigger clubs, and they've kind of been dropped off. They dropped off the last couple of seasons, but with a new manager in, who knows? They've got great attacking options. Austin, Ings, Long. Yeah, but I just wanted, before we proceed, I want to go through the comments. We had a lot of people talking in chat, and we kind of skipped over them so far. So I'm just going to rewind it back a little bit. We've had a lot of sympathy for you, Steve-O, in chat. They're saying that you're very unlucky. They can sense your passion. We've talked discussion about Hazard, about him being a great option again. Obviously, he did pick up a little bit of a knock, but apparently Sarri has said that it's going to be a 1 to 2 day rest period, and he should be back fine. So there's nothing to worry about there. Mane back on the radar? Question mark. Who knows? I mean, again with the Salah inconsistency. Yeah, he bangs a hat trick in.
The Salah inconsistency, I think it's just the fact there's more inconsistency against the quote-unquote top teams. He's playing the poorer teams who he's got up net. Ironically, Wolves are not a poor team against the bigger sides this year, and their form at the moment is excellent. But I think that at the moment, if you got Salah, stick with him. I wouldn't be bringing him in, but I wouldn't be getting rid either. I wouldn't worry about Salah at the moment. I mean, looking at Mane now, once it comes up, if we look at what he's done over recently,
I'm going to carry.
It's not that great.
Yeah,
he's got 1 goal today, but he's blanked in the last last 3. So
I'm just going to skip along a few more comments. Camera for Fulham, a blank missed opportunity. He had a very, very, very good chance to score. He didn't take it. But for the owners of Kamara, I mean, you've been getting good points out of him for recent weeks, so I wouldn't be too unhappy with his price at the very least. Anyway, he's just a bench player. Son has about 5 games left before he leaves for the Asia Cup. That could be my ticket to Hazard. A fellow Son owner, I do like his play style. I think he's a great asset to Spurs. I'm going to keep holding him as long as I can. Vince Chapman in chat saying that Kamara blank was great for Fabianski with the save point as well. Absolute bargain. We for the
that not bringing it for me. Not bringing in Fabianski because I wanted to be different to you, Jason. Because at the time, I was actually I think I was 7,000 at the time. At the time, I was 7,000th in the world. You were obviously miles ahead of me, but I thought, no, this is now a period when I feel I can climb the ranks and everything. I'm going to have to be something different to Jason. I chose Matt Ryan ahead of Fabianski, and that has killed me.
Yes, I can see what you did it though. Mourinho is good for the national team coaching now. Portugal. He could do. I don't think he's happy at United, and to be honest, I think it would be best for both sides if he was to leave myself. I just think
is Ronaldo any good at centre back?
Jack Gleason says, I thought Lingard was quite lazy today, looking lucky enough, lucky goal. Yes, he wasn't good, no. To be fair, the whole United team were pretty lethargic to watch. Out of all of them, I thought Lingard was probably the more livelier with Rashford. Rashford was showing signs of heart and soul and trying to get back in. Lukaku was doing a decent job of holding the ball up, but that was about it, not much else. Michael Svedin in chat's got Shaqiri. Congratulations, Shaqiri owner. Happy to hold on to him, even though he starts on the bench majority of games, but cannot return massive hauls if you persist with him. Jack Gleason, I'm a United fan too. Jason thought Fellaini was pretty good when he came on. He did boss the midfield at times. I did, but again, it was just sideways passing and long balls, and it wasn't very attractive at all from United. Vince Chapman says sack Jose. Going down the chat again. Did Dan win your bet? Did Dan win his bet? Vince Chapman's asking.
Can't even remember what games.
Oh, there goes the camera.
It's got to be Man City, surely.
Hello.
Who did you put it on, Dan? Everyone wants to know what happened to your dead cert. You put it on Man City. Right, okay.
So I did actually, sorry, I was actually nearly not.
Aubameyang. Oh, well, there you go. Dead cert bet pays off again. He's on a roll. Brett Mollison in chat saying Aubameyang to Aguero in a few weeks could be a goer for me unless Wilson or someone else stands up again at 6 to 7 million. Why not both? I mean, why if you're going to have one, I would say Aguero over Aubameyang definitely, and then have like what I've done, maybe have two cheap like mid-tier strikers. So like the likes of Chicharito, the likes of I got rid of him, but even like Mitrovic, Wilson. That sort of like, I mean, even Ings is maybe an option now. There'll probably be a lot of transfers bringing Ings in, trying to chase this week's points. Dan would have nailed his dead cert bet picking Southampton, right? I bet he loves that. United were poor. The Tesso, you're absolutely right. 52 points this week, FPL wise. That's that's above average, which is good. You always look at the average score and try and be at least a few points ahead of that. Notorious Nerd says Alonso unlucky not to get a return with his points. Apparently, with Alonso could be getting a retrospective action for what he did in the game. I didn't see it, but I'm looking forward to finding out. As a non-Alonso owner, I would not be too sympathetic. Rondon could be on the radar. I mean, for a lot of people, he's a great value asset. Like I was saying a minute ago, like mid-price strikers, are getting the points at the moment.
Well, I just interject. You mentioned Danny Ings. So he got his 2 goals today. Prior to being injured, he had got a goal versus Man City of 14. Would you believe that? A goal against Man City. Admittedly, they lost 6-1, but that's not the point. He also got an assist against Watford. In total this year, he's got 6 goals and an assist. He's only 5.4. And barring a couple of fixtures against Chelsea and... sorry, everybody, about this. It's just I'm using a PS4 for anybody that's doing it. Very, very annoying. So right, so next fixture, Huddersfield away. Can I see him scoring? Yeah. West Ham at home. Barring the odd clean sheet, I can see him scoring. Then it's Man City at home, Chelsea away. Ironically, Man City at home. But then after those 2 games, they've got 5 really favourable fixtures. So do you know what? Danny Ings is a potential budget striker option at 5.4. I think,
absolutely, I agree. If you can stretch your budget, though, I think the man to get from game week 23 onwards is Jimenez. Raul Jimenez. If you ain't got him in, he's starting to score goals in a Wolves team that have got a lot of creative talent, and come next year, he could be an essential, like dare I say the word essential, like budget to mid price striking option, because I do feel that this year, fantasy football wise, we're not going to see 2 or even 3 expensive striker options. I do think the value's in midfield. Spend in midfield, have the lower priced strikers consistently getting you the goal and the assist as well, and I think you're going to do well.
Well, let's look at you've been talking about the chat. Well, let's get the chat guys involved. So we'll look at the top 3 in the Elite FPL Mini League, and as ever, if you want to join it, the league code is on the screen now. So Jack Gleeson is top of that, but there's a reason why he's top of that. As of last night, he was 159th in the world. Captain Kane had Sane and Sterling, Felipe Anderson doing well through him, Doherty, Wan-Bissaka, Patrizio there. And he also, of course, went through in the Cup. He's absolutely battered this team. FPL, Ruvi. I mean, looking at their team, it's not too bad, actually, to be fair. But that was just a perfect week to be playing this particular team. So if you want to gloat about where you are in the league, just let Jason know in the chat. He'll read the comment out. Then we're on to Suman. He is, again, incredibly 731st in the whole world, 76 points. Ben Davies. Where on earth picked Ben Davies from Tottenham, for crying out loud? All his back line got clean sheets and points. So Fabianski, Davies, Doherty and Wan-Bissaka, Sterling, Sane, Felipe, and just everything coming in. There's Jimenez right there, staring at me in the face.
Unbelievable game week for Suman. This, yeah. I mean, the decision making to have Davies, like you said, in this team. I mean,
ironically, he didn't even make the cup round. He didn't even make it into the cup this week.
I know. Yeah, he didn't make the cup because he would have almost certainly been through to the next round if he had have. And looking at his leagues that he's in, he's pretty much top of the majority of them. Absolutely bossing it. Well done, Suman. If you're still watching, well done on your game week and slowly pulling away from me, who's dropped down to outside of the top 5 or top 4 anyway. But we'll go into Ian's team.
Ian's team, you can see it here. Fabianski and Doherty, same old usual phases. But he's got the double up as Anderson, Snodgrass. Playing in a team, very attacking and everything. Fantastic. Their captain Kane. He is through to the cup. The next round against nice pun on a name here. Gangsters Allardyce. Very good then. We should bring them up.
Do you want to bring them up? I'll bring them up.
When I look at the teams that these that us guys are playing, I mean, looking at this, I mean, McTominay in midfield, Masaka, Lewis Dunk, Bednarak. You know, there's a reason why these people are like 2 millionth in the world. Yeah, ironically, I've lost to someone that's 2 million.
Yeah, but is this an active team? They've not made a transfer since game week 4. So they're probably inactive now. So you can't. I mean, they got McTominay and
Martin Kelly.
Wait a minute. Is this Mourinho's team? He's got McTominay and Lukaku.
Yeah.
He loves McTominay, doesn't he?
He does. Anyway.
I mean, talking of players that have had a really bad week. So Graham Barker, who's 4th in our league, last night he had 34 points. He's had a good day today. He's up to 51.
Yeah, he's reclaimed a lot of his points. He had Hazard in.
Hazard.
Yeah, and that's returned him a good 10 points. He's probably going to get a bonus 3 as well.
I look at this team and I'm just thinking, you're 7,000. Where are you in the world? 2,209 in the world. Yet you got Jorginho. What?
He must know something. You know.
It just baffles the mind. It really, really does.
Well, I would have personally played Richarlison, but I mean, for the people that hold on to Richarlison, I feel like Everton have got a goal in them, so I would probably play him I would have played him over Jorginho myself. But that's just me, and I'm not as high as him in the world. So what do I know?
And he has actually gone through the cup as well. So any more discussion points for us in the chat, Jason, before we wrap it all up?
Yeah. So we've got May have just passed you this week. Paul Wickett? Let's have a quick look. See if you're going to pass me this week. Let's have a look, Paul. You're on 57 points, and you've got hang on. We've got Wan-Bissaka coming in, and and Camarasa coming in. Yeah, I think you are going to probably pip me for my 6th space. So it's a good chance I'm going to drop down to 7th.
All those points on the bench. Another
unbelievable.
Again,
unbelievable.
If anybody's the opposite, I assume Jason has brought the team up on screen, but just kind of proof that this is the perfect kind. Well, not necessarily this game, because ironically, 2 of his players are coming off the bench because of injured players. But the point being is that, let's just say, for example, Kolasinac and Alexander-Arnold did play. Kind of a week to be playing the bench boost, because there you are, 17, 18 points on the bench there. To get that in a double game week is very, very quite rare.
I mean, it just solidifies the whole approach of having a playing strong bench. And I do consider the likes of Wan-Bissaka and Bennett to be great bench and starters. I mean, I started both of them this week, And I do think they've got chances of bringing in the points. Wolves' defence is genuinely quite good. And Wan-Bissaka is, in a Crystal Palace team, and Roy Hodgson's kind of shored up their defence a bit, and he can provide the odd assist potential as well going down the wing. So who knows? For the money they're great options to have. And they're for me, Bennett and Wan-Bissaka, they're staying in my team unless they get injured for the entire season. I'm not going to be waving goodbye to them.
So,
Rico, yeah. He played.
And I just saw a match today.
He played.
Oh yeah, there's my mate Rico.
The Tesso in chat said Richarlison could have had a hat trick again.
Yeah.
He is a player that can get the goal or two. Given he has so many chances in games. He's played really good for Brazil. He's playing really good for Everton. And I would, if you've got Richarlison now, there's no reason to get rid of him. He was quite selfish and he missed a lot of easy chances as well. Yeah, next game he could put him away and get 2 or 3 goals. What to do? Sorry.
No, I was just going to ask Dan. Really, kind of like, do you have any live reaction to your own team? Because I can tell you what my blinking live reaction is. I mean, you've had a disaster of a game like me. I mean, are there any immediate transfer thoughts that went through your head as were you looking at your team and just no points coming in whatsoever?
Yeah, it's just frustrating because that Trent Alexander-Arnold obviously not playing on Friday. I saw that news and I thought, right, got to get a defender in. I mentioned this in the last podcast. Pereira, you said about Watford attacking assets and their fixtures coming up. Pereira could have easily had a hat-trick yesterday. I watched the highlights and he gets into all the right positions, and actually the goalkeeper for Cardiff, I forget his name now, but he made 2 fantastic saves. So
Etheridge.
Yes, he played really well. So that could be someone potentially on my agenda. But as I've said before, Kane and Aubameyang, their returns. I mean, obviously Kane got an assist, which is something, I suppose. But yeah, it's just really disappointing. And that strategy of investing so much in my forward line and getting top heavy, as I've kind of done, it's, as Jay said, there's a lot of great sort of mid-range attacking options. Jimenez. Obviously Wilson, players like that, and lots of the points come from midfield. And Sane, I mean, he's just a player he's absolutely on fire at the moment. And when you're obviously looking at your team and the potential players to get in, you have to think, okay, I can't have all the best players in. I've got to sometimes look at it and say, right, there are assets that are just going to get loads of points. I'm just going to have to take that on the chin and look at the strengths of my team. But yeah, it's frustrating. I think one of the guys in chat said about Aubameyang out, Aguero in. I think that could potentially be a good move looking forward, really. So
it's funny because Pereira's actually only returned 2 assists in the last 7 or 8 games. So actually, he's done pretty good compared to Deulofeu. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, he had 5 shots away to Everton, and he must have had about 3 or 4. So what I'm saying is he just keeps getting in the right positions. He's got that underlying potential to return big in one game, and he's a very skillful player as well, weaves his way in. So there's a possibility for that, but knowing me, I'll say all this, and I'll just go with somebody that everyone else picks in the midfield. And then
thing is, like, the way I look at it, if Pereira was playing for a West Ham or for an Everton, or for even like someone like Arsenal, then yeah, he'd be someone that I would love to bring in. But I try not to disrespect Watford, but he's a sort of player that thrives on this quick passing, pass and move, and drifting in, trying to do some skills and stuff like that. And I just he does it to an extent for Watford, but I just don't think the teammates around him complement his game, and I think a lot. You see glimpses of brilliance from him, but I think you would see a lot more if he was in a top 4 team or a top 6 team even.
He came from Juventus, so
who knows? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if someone snaps him up at some point, because I do think he is a talent and he's is going to be of interest to certain. Gamer United. So in the chat, the Tessa. Sorry, just going to read a few more comments out. The Tesso, I should say. This stream is a quality stream. Have my like. Thank you ever so much for the like. We really appreciate you guys liking our streams and chilling out with us while we talk about FPL.
Quick one while we've got everybody live and we're about to go off. We were doing some research and we found out that quite a lot of our viewers haven't actually subscribed. So if you please could hit that subscribe button while we're live now, it would be awesome. Because we found out that quite a lot of the guys that watch this haven't actually subscribed. And it'd be brilliant if you could just hit that subscribe button and get our numbers up, so to speak. But sorry, Jason, carry on.
No, absolutely. Should I bench Jimenez next week? Jimenez. No, do not bench Jimenez. I love Jimenez. I really do. And if I could have another striker spot for him, I would. And I will be probably looking at getting him in next year. If I had him in, I wouldn't be getting rid of him. Just info, no predictions. Subscribed, the bell button on. Thank you ever so much, Tesso. Really appreciate that.
Looking at Wolves' performances against the big clubs. Man City, they drew 1-1. Man United, they drew 1-1. Tottenham, they just lost 3-2. Arsenal, 1-1. Chelsea, they won 2-1. They got Liverpool next. They're the kind of teams that they like playing because they play a counter-attacking style of football. And I just think that just play Jimenez for the sake. I mean, I don't know who your bench is or anything, but I would just... It's a player in form. Form over fixtures. And ironically, this is best for form and almost best fixture almost. But I was going to say, Jason, just we all have different mindsets each game week when it ends. Obviously, you're in a positive mindset, but did you have any initial reaction to the following game week regarding transfers or anything like that, or are you just happy to stick with what you've got?
I've spent points. I'm a great advocate. I'm a great believer that you spend the points because you feel over X amount of game weeks you're going to do better than the player you're taking out. And at the moment, I'm going to just consolidate the point expenditures. Not going to, unless there's a serious... if Trent Alexander-Arnold's ruled out of next week, I haven't seen the latest news. I don't know what the situation is. Then I might do a transfer for him. I'm certainly not going to do any point hits like that. I was looking at Schindler, actually, for Huddersfield as an option. The real question is, do you play Doherty? Yes, always play Doherty. Yes, Tesso. Yes, absolutely. But there's one thing I wanted to talk about, but I completely forgot about it because you just asked me about my team. But yeah, have you got anything else to say, Dan? Steve?
Well, I was just going to say just a quick one on my... I'm just looking at my team for next match, and I'm like, it's actually really, really good. Double Arsenal defence, and then you realise, nope, that isn't the case anymore. My initial reaction from yesterday is I want to get rid of Kane. When I heard Aguero was on the bench, I thought, I think that's the simplest swap. Get rid of Kane, bring in Aguero. Like Dan said earlier, Aguero... I even complained about Aguero getting me a minimum of goal per match and nothing more and nothing less.
A couple of weeks ago, you turned around. A couple of weeks ago, you said to me, Jason, you must be thinking of getting Kane in. You know, he surely must be an option now. And I said to you, he's burnt me a few times already this year, and it's not going to happen. And I just think that with Harry Kane moving to Aguero is a very sensible option. I wouldn't worry about that myself. I don't actually hide behind the sofa anymore when Harry Kane plays, which is great because he spends the majority of his time in centre midfield. But I remember what I was going to say, and you guys obviously had a pretty lower than average game week. You're probably a bit annoyed about it, but you know it's ups and downs. It's ups and downs with FPL. If you remember a few weeks ago, I had an absolutely diabolical game week. That was the following week, obviously, then doing the free hit, which also failed as well. So yeah, the rough with the smooth, to coin a phrase from a other podcaster. I would say that for anyone that's had a bad week, just switch off. Just have a few days break from it. Don't think too much. Let it just reflect and calm yourself, because next game week it could be completely different. Sterling and Sane did nothing for me last game week. This game week, they've both returned. And it can easily happen with the players that you've got in your team. You've brought those players in your teams for a reason. You know, unless you're just basically just bandwagoning, not researching, and just bringing in McTominay and Lukaku. You know, I just don't be disappointed if you've got below average this week. That applies to everyone that's, you know, anyone that's listening that may have had a bad week, you know, sub 40 points or, you know, sub 50 points, you know, because I think the average is going to be around about 48. I'm not quite sure. Don't worry, because it's a long season. There's a lot more game weeks to go, and it can all change.
Yeah, it can all change. I'm waiting for these ups, Jason. I did have my highest game week score about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So yeah, I know what you mean. It's up and down, but yeah, plenty of games to play over the Christmas and New Year schedule as well. That'll be very interesting for the mini leagues as well, I think. But yeah, unless there's any other comments in the chat, I think that pretty much wraps things up. Is there any other comments?
I'll just close it up, guys, for saying again from everybody here, from me, Stan, Stevo, we really love the fact that you guys come back. Same names. We've got some new faces in chat as well. The Tesso, welcome. And, you know, we're just going to read a few comments out. We've got Jimenez return Halls versus Arsenal and Chelsea early in the season. I think I'll keep starting with him. Absolutely notorious nerd. If you got him in, you got him in for a reason. And he's playing in a very good Wolves team. I do expect Wolves to finish in a respectable position this year. I think they've got a really solid team. Jack Gleason says Matt Ryan is going to the Asia Games with Australia in January, just so Steve-O knows. I don't think you need to worry about that. I think he's going to be gone long before the Asia Games. I think Steve-O is probably sick to death of him right now. Brett Mollinson says... I've
got more burning issues in my team.
But yeah, but by mid-Jan or whenever it is, you'll probably be long shot of him. Yeah. But after my hit this week, Brett Mollinson says I've had about 1.7 in the bank. 1.7 million in the bank. Nice. Thinking Bennett or Dunk out, but who in? Luis? Question mark? Or over 2 weeks, bring in Kolasinac? No, don't go to an Arsenal defender. Don't fall into the trap. No, not now. Digne. Digne's a good option. If you've got Doherty, or if you haven't got Doherty, get Doherty in. Aguero and Sterling seemed a must before his injury. Might be the case over Christmas. Tesso has had some rest. Aguero's been, he's on the bench now. He's on the cusp of coming back into the City team. Don't be fooled. Gabriel Jesus isn't the main man at Man City. Aguero is the main man at Man City. We got Notorious Nerd saying if both Son and Kane start, then I think both will benefit. I think they do complement each other. I do really like this owning Son, and I hope that they do have some synergy between them. But I just hope that Kane doesn't go on a bag of goals over the Christmas period, because I will not be seeing any of those points. Thank you ever so much, Tesso, for the feedback. It's much appreciated. Vince Chapman says, yes, Son is so important to Kane performance. I agree. Nice one again. Great show. Thank you ever so much. We're going to be going off now, guys. So one final thing from Dan and Steve, I was probably going to say about the Elite FPL Instagram page and the Twitter. We're way more active on Instagram. We post video updates. We do discussions on there. We read comments. Any questions, we'll ask questions as well for future streams. But yeah, to echo again, thank you ever so much for being here, and we'll be back again midweek for the preview of next game weeks. But I'll let Steve-O and Dan finish and close the podcast.
Yeah, so if you've enjoyed this podcast, if you've watched it on the replay, comment, like, but most importantly, subscribe so you don't miss out on any future ones. Thanks for joining us as well in the live chat. Hope you've enjoyed the podcast once again. And also, obviously, as Jay said, Elite FPL on Instagram. We do some extra content on there, weekly videos. Get involved with the chat on there as well. So, yeah, just going to watch Arsenal Fan TV now. That should be very enjoyable as well. So, yeah, thanks a lot, guys. And, yeah, look forward to seeing you all on the next podcast. And enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Later.